Hey folks, and welcome back to another video. Bit of a change to our regular programming today. In this video, we're going to take a look at the new Outriders demo that came out recently, giving you an early review, first impressions, and my thoughts on the game. Let's jump into it. So obviously this won't be a full in-depth review because the demo's only been out a short time. Instead, I want to give you my first impressions of the game, looking at the gameplay, visuals, and other things that stood out the first time I jumped into the game. In a week or two of the demo being out, I might do another video and more of an in-depth review after I've spent much more time with the game and have played through each class, seeing a bigger range of gear and weapon drops. Now there are things that I really like and things I do have my concerns about. But first, if you've not heard of Outriders, it's a new third-person cover-based looter shooter coming to PC, Stadia, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series S and X, developed by People Can Fly, and published by Square Enix. Set to release on the 1st of April 2021. But they have released a free demo that you can access on all platforms now. This will let you play the first chapter of the story, level each class up to level 7, and max out gathered resources, plus all of your progress from the demo carries over to the full game if you choose to pick it up. In Outriders, the Earth has been rendered uninhabitable, and the human race has been forced to search for a new planet to call home. And in charge of this is the Outriders, a scout and part of an expedition team checking planets are safe before they can be colonised. But things go wrong on the planet Enoch, as the Outriders find themselves caught in a massive energy storm, disintegrating some people unlucky enough to be caught in the energy storms, but others are altered, giving them strange and powerful powers. You play as an Outrider and an altered woken up from cryosleep years after first landing on Enoch, to find the planet in the middle of a war still ravaged by the savage energy storms. Starting up a new character, you have a few different presets of faces, hair, different colours and shades to choose from, plus scars, piercings, and beards for the male characters. You can't change your character's outfit, but this is because your character always starts off in the standard gear. I do have a mini gripe about this, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. Jumping into the game, I was a little bit thrown by the cutscenes. They didn't give me high hopes for the graphics, with them looking pretty basic and in my opinion a little bit last gen, but luckily when the game starts and you're in control, the visuals do look great. This must be one of the few games I've ever seen where the in-game graphics actually look better than some of the cutscenes. The starting area looks vibrant, tropical and alive, with wildlife roaming, huge mountains and cascading waterfalls. In the beginning, the game does a good job with the starting area, introducing you to a few of the main characters and giving you a feel for the shooting and cover mechanics. Talking to other characters gives you a few options in the conversation for you to find out more information, giving the game more of an RPG vibe. The shooting and cover gameplay has a sped up Gears of War feel to it, which isn't surprising with People Can Fly being the developers of many of the Gears of War games. The gameplay in general feels very fast-paced compared to most looter shooters, with the NPCs being very aggressive, pushing up to you constantly, so you're always sprinting or dodging around the map. This is something I actually really enjoyed. The cover mechanics can feel a little bit odd and clunky, but to be honest, I didn't spend much time using the cover, charging from enemy to enemy. Something I really liked was going from the starting area to the in-game modern day. The difference in the environment going from a lush tropical setting to a dark world in ruin let you share the shock of your character suddenly transitioning from one to the other, realising what's happened while you've been in cryo. Away from the starting area, the world itself is grim and dark, and visually it looks great. One thing I will mention is the horrendous motion blur. It's super thick, especially when sprinting. Some players might not mind this, but I tend to disable it in everything I play. But the good news is, the official Outriders Twitter account said there will be a toggle to disable the motion blur in the full game release, as well as a toggle for the DLSS on PC, which is also missing in the demo. So, let's talk classes. There are 4 classes, each with their own unique special abilities, passive buffs, and ways to play. You can access and try them all in the demo, creating up to 6 characters if you really want to. And if you do want to try the other classes out, you only have to play the prologue with your first character, then after that you can skip it with any new character, which is a nice touch with it being quite long with a lot of chatting to NPCs. Something I liked which differentiated the different classes, with each class they all have different ways to play in order to recover health. And this means you have to actively change how you play with each class to keep your health up, and I actually really like this. The 4 classes in Outriders are the Techromancer, a long-range support class that can use reanimated turrets, mines and other tech as weapons, and the Techromancer also recovers a portion of their damage dealt back as health. The Pyromancer, this is a mid-range class that uses fire-based attack abilities. The Pyromancer marks enemies using a skill, then killing a marked enemy will recover a portion of your health. The Devastator, a close-range tank class that uses powerful rock and smashing attacks. The Devastator recovers health by killing enemies that are stood too close to you. And finally, the Trickster, which was the first class I decided to go with. The Trickster is a close-range hit-and-run class. With special abilities to manipulate time and space, the Trickster recovers health by killing enemies at close range. Starting out with the Trickster, the first ability it gave me was an arcing slash that does big damage and disintegrates anyone hit by it, also giving me health back because it's a kill at close range. The moment I used this ability, I was sold, and I can't wait to see what some of the higher level abilities are going to do. The special abilities and attacks in-game feel really good, and they all feel like they're doing something powerful. Sometimes in games, special abilities can feel a little bit lacking, but in Outriders they do actually feel powerful and useful. And of course, with this being a looter, let's talk about the gear and weapons. Gear and weapons can be looted from caches found around the map and dropped by enemy NPCs. And so far all of these weapons I've tried have a very different feel, and gear gives you basic attribute increases like armor, firepower, and anomaly power, which is what strengthens your skills. Gear and weapons with rarities higher than grey also seem to be able to have talents, which is a good thing for future build diversity further down the road. Plus, there's a huge skill tree with multiple branches you can go down. In the demo, we won't get enough skill points to max out a branch by far, but I'm kind of curious in the endgame whether we'll be able to max out the entire tree or just a single branch. One small issue I did have with the gear, and this won't matter to some players, but there isn't any kind of transmog or skin system currently in game, meaning that there's no way to change your character's outfit and appearance other than the gear you have equipped at that time. You can toggle the helmet on or off in the options if you want to see your custom face, but that's about it with customization currently. It's not a deal breaker for me, just a quality of life feature I quite like to have in games like this, with them having a large range of different looks for gear. In the menu, there is a customization tab with your banner that you place as a quick travel point in specific areas, and emotes, and there is also a tab there with a padlock icon, so fingers crossed this is some kind of outfit or transmog slot, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Playing through the missions, the map looks good, if not a little bit samey after a while. Visually, it kind of has a Revenant of the Ashes feel to it, with everything being quite brown and grey of a colour palette. And in the demo, we only had a limited amount of areas to explore, which all did feel very similar and kind of blended together. But like I said, this is in the demo, so hopefully we get to explore different types of biomes. It does have on the Steam page that we'll see shantytowns, forests, mountains, and deserts, so I'm looking forward to exploring more regions and areas in the full game. But that is my first impressions of Outriders. Overall, so far it's looking pretty good. It's much more fast paced than The Division 2, but after messing around with my mouse sensitivity and my key bindings, it felt familiar enough just to jump in and start playing. I am hoping the different maps have a very different feel to them as we explore more of the game. Going from the bright, hopeful beginning area to the hopeless destruction of the Nomad Land was such a huge change in atmosphere and setting. Fingers crossed we get some more of this variation. I am really enjoying the gameplay, from the shooting to the skills. I think this is what's going to keep me invested enough to keep playing this game. I'm also pretty eager to see how deep the build diversity will go in the endgame. So, have you tried the Outriders demo yet? If you have, what do you think of the game so far? Are you going to be picking this one up? And if you'd like to see more Outriders content on this channel, I'll be playing the game quite a bit in my free time, and I'd happily create a few extra guides if you guys wanted. Or maybe you'd like to see more first impression videos. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more looter shooter content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.